Thanks for staying with us now. State-owned entity Transnet has established a draft network statement. Now, this is another step towards allowing third-party access into the South African rail network system. Now, it will be gazetted for public comment. And let's speak to someone who is no stranger to this conversation on public-private partnerships, the African Rail Industry Association CEO, Mesela Nhlapo. Thank you so much for your time this evening. You and I have had so many conversations about this public-private partnerships, and I'm sure this is a moment where you are looking back at some of the conversations that we've had over time about this step right now. And I wonder, what are your thoughts when you see how far it has gone and where things are now?
Thank you, Bongiwe, and good evening to South Africa. I think my view on this is that today, as we reflect on the evolutions of railways in South Africa, I need to urge all parties concerned that let us carry forward with the same resolute mindset, the unwavering determination, and the burning passion for our economy. For it is in the relentless pursuit of progress lies the promise of a better future, where the tracks we lay today will pave the way forward for a world for generations to come. And I think this describes the journey that we have walked and the objectives that we need to achieve as a country. And congratulate government for having walked this journey with us.
And there are some who've, basically say that there's still some issues that they're not happy with. For example, the proposed network tariffs, and they're saying that these could simply be unaffordable for some of the businesses. How then do you view that?
Those matters have been raised, and how I respond to that is that, like any other government process, we will be afforded an opportunity to provide our thinking into through public participation, of which we as ARIA, we commit that we will attend all public consultation sessions. So I believe that industry and government will find each other. Yes, it looks costly, but Transnet is in a tough space. I would rather call on government to take on the debt of 1064 contracts, remove it from the Transnet balance sheet. In that way, Transnet does not use its current funds to fund a debt, but rather to invest the money in projects that are supposed to be invested in. That's how we help Transnet. How about the infrastructure manager? The infrastructure manager needs to be supported by government. Compared to the support that is required by the infrastructure manager, this will influence the relative higher prices that have been raised by industry.
So how then do you begin to strike a balance between the two? Because you, on the one hand, have some of the people who are saying that Transnet, as you say, is still in trying to recover. It's still in recovery mode, especially when you look at what happened during the tenure of state capture. But at the same time, you then have the finance minister who says that the SOEs will be shown tough love.
I think that South Africans, we are the shareholders of these SOCs. And I believe that the minister would agree with me that it's not the SOCs that are getting tough love, but it's South Africans getting tough love. It's the economy of South Africa that is getting a tough love. And then therefore, it might be a need to revisit that view for the best interest of the railways in this country, looking to the continent.
So there's been, of course, a lot of focus now, again, on the public-private partnerships. And I'm sure you're well aware of this because it's given the recent developments of the SAA-Takatso consortium deal that fell through, some saying that there needs to be a zoning in on these public-private partnerships and how they now should be working? Because others are saying you need to be as transparent as possible. This is a partnership that needs to have really, really serious guidelines. And I wonder, how should government be approaching these public-private partnerships to avoid a possible repeat of what we saw there?
I think transparency will go a long way. And as we've seen with the National Logistics Crisis Committee, there are different stakeholders that are involved. And having ARIA as a watchdog to these processes will go a long way. And I think that each and every one of us has a responsibility to hold the government accountable. We cannot find ourselves where we were few years ago. We need to make sure that we have an efficient SOCs, we have an efficient and transparent processes that will bring us into the private sector participation within the railway space and any other place. But I also wish to congratulate all those that act in the best interest of South Africa, that they pay the ultimate price of protecting the public purse, that we stand with them. And we will ensure that we continue doing the work to protect the public purse.
All right. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Appreciate it. That was African Rail Industry Association CEO, Mesela Nhlapo.